welcome back again to an episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, but especially battlefield tactics and advanced field command. And we're doing another custom battle here. We are going to have some small battles in this episode. I had a subscriber curious whether or not you can actually apply the tactics that we use on our channel to smaller battles. And so what we're going to do here is it's Valandia against Aserai, and we're going to select all of the units except the peasants. We don't want there to be any recruits in this battle, but all the other units are checkmarked. And as you can see, the aserai have 125 more troops than us. And we're going to give them sort of a standard-looking army as far as composition, and we will play Valandia here. I don't actually know if this is going to work. I don't often fight with little tiny armies like this. We had a few episodes in the past, but we're going to try a few today in this custom battle. Kind of fun for me to explore and see what kind of tactics you can do here. So I'm already envisioning essentially a two-flanked army here. We're going to have a weaker side of the battle and then a stronger side. And basically we're going to hold the weaker side out in front and be our shield, and then have our stronger troops come in and try to be the sword. Right, so this 6th Corps here, those are elite infantry. The 5th Corps is going to be elite, the 4th Corps is going to be elite archers. The 5th Corps will be basically assisting archers. And then the 2nd and 3rd Cav, those guys are effectively going to assist, depending on what is presented by the enemy here. All right, up on this flank over here, we're going to have a crossbow division, and we're going to have a weaker crossbow division with the lower units as the bait, basically. Adjust some of my settings here because it's boomingly loud on my microphone, and now we can see what occurs here. So the 1st infantry is also lower level infantry, right? These guys are that's your tier 1 or tier 2 and tier 3 infantry. We're going to bait the enemy with those units, and then we're going to attack them with the 6th Corps, the stronger infantry. The idea being we're hoping that the weaker infantry can hold out in either a square or a shield wall, depending on the situation, and then we will apply pressure and attack with our flanks here, the 6th Corps and the 2nd Cavalry, which is our better cavalry of the 2 Cav divisions. The 3rd Cav is back there on defense, and depending on what the enemy presents us with, I will use them in varying ways. Right now, the 2nd Cav is just sort of holding that flank, preventing the enemy from circling easily up in shield wall, and our crossbowmen right now are going to work. Now, a lot of battles, I can conserve ammunition, but not with Valandia. With Valandia, I have these guys opening fire early on because crossbowmen that run out of ammunition are very viable for the rest of the battle, right? They can form squares, they can form shield walls, and they're pretty effective attacking, right? They're not like Battanian Fiends or Fiend Champs, but they have defensive properties that are sort of undervalued in Bannerlord. All right, our Cav is sent in against their 7th Horse Archers. There's 7 Horse Archers over there, rather. And we're moving our crossbow division back now, right? We're probably going to square these guys, and then the infantry can start to move to the enemy's flank here. Now, this is still going to be very difficult because even though it's only being outnumbered by 25 guys, this is 25%, right? It's a large number as far as a percentage. This would be an extremely difficult battle in normal Bannerlord, right? All right, so we're going to flank the enemy here. We're sending the Cav across to the other side, and we're going to drag in infantry on the enemy's left flank here. You can see him pounding on the square. We're now going to fly in on this side with infantry. The infantry's told to charge, cut them down, and the 2nd division here, we're going to try to ram right up the enemy's ass. In comes our 2nd division following me. We're going to try not to get killed from our horse here. The 5th crossbows are back there doing good work, right? Some of those are lower level crossbow, and I see those guys racking up the kills, actually. It's a maelstrom in here. It's actually kind of hard to tell if we're winning or not, but I think the 6th Corps is scoring more kills than they're being killed. Aserai archers are underrated, in my opinion. I might do a series on underrated troops at some point. The aserai archers, to me, are some of the best in the game. I'm going to probably be talking about other underrated units that people don't seem to like. Well, this is a very good sign. Their infantry is routing. That means our combined force attack there using the shield and sword did work, right? It did send the enemies fleeing. Now it's time to try to work on their archer corps, but like I said, aserai archers are pretty solid. So we're going to run cav through here and move units up in a hurry. This is where the crossbowmen have two roles, right? They can shoot at a distance, but they're very beneficial in this situation, moving forward in a shield wall. They still have a handful of cav that's running around here as well, so I've got kind of dual duties. I understand that me killing 10 or 15 guys in this battle is going to unbalance it a little bit, but we're outnumbered by 25, so even if I killed 10 or 15, this would still be winning a battle where we're outnumbered. And I think that would still show the value of tactics. With all that said, I would say in my experience in the past, when I've had smaller battles, tactics are much less valuable. It's much more prevalent, much more dominant when you have tranches of units that are 100 or 80. If you have 20 guys in a square, they don't hold out very long. But if you have 60 or 80, these fucking guys will hold out for like 3 minutes, allowing you to maneuver around the battlefield, flank them with archers, etc. Right? Now, one of these episodes, I will kite to a kill box, and I think kiting will work. You can see this battle's over. They just routed. Well, except their cav here. They still got a handful of cav left. You can see a lot of our crossbow are still alive, right? Those are the guys that were squared. Those are the guys that were in shield wall. They defended nicely. This battle is basically over. I'll wrap this up, but I will say this before I go into the next episode, that kiting does work with lesser units, and I've already discovered that in my series Companions of Blood. That's a series where we run around with our 40 companions, and admittedly they're all elite, very troops, elite troops, not elite, not very elite. They're extremely elite. And those guys, when I've kited in a few episodes, they mauled the enemy, right? Because the enemy's trying to chase you. You can spread out and split into different areas. And then those guys are attacking them, or you run cav through the enemy, shoot them with arrows from different vantage points. It's very effective. This part here I can probably just close out. In fact, if this battle doesn't wrap up soon, I probably will. These fucking stubborn aserai cav here won't seem to die. But I enjoy these custom battles just because it is something different for me. It gets me to try unusual things, and very frequently, especially of late, I'm taking on requests, from players. If you want to see me try a certain situation, or you're having a difficult time with a certain situation, just let me know and I'm willing to try it. I think we will move on here. I'm basically just chasing down the last few units, and as you can see from the power bar ahead above, this battle is over. Right? I can't tell exactly, but we have about 30 or 35 troops, and the enemy has like one guy fleeing over the horizon here. So we'll move on to the next battle. I'll preload it, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we'll give this another shot here. We're going to try the Empire this time. We've set up the units very much as the same, and we'll probably try a little bit of tactics, a little different tactics here, right? We'll probably try a little bit more kiting. We may do a shield and shock approach with aserai shock troops. Going through the units here, you can see we have all the ones selected except for the recruits. Just going through here, making sure I didn't miss any of these units. And what this effectively does, all the units except, of course, the militia and the minor clans. We don't want to unbalance it with that. What this does is effectively make this battle from an army strength equal. Now, again, the enemy has 25% more troops than us, right? 25 more troops. I guess technically it's 24. This is a huge disadvantage, right? And that would be very difficult to overcome in normal Bannerlord, right? If you auto resolve this battle, you would lose most of the time. All right, so I'm not entirely sure if the skirmisher division is going to be worthwhile, but I'm going to set this up essentially like I would if I had a large army. So the 4th corps will be archers. The 3rd, I'm going to make a shock division. So I want a cav division in the 2nd, and I think I'll use the 7th as another cav division. That'll play. Those will be defensive cav, screening cav, and the 2nd will be attacking cav. So the 7th gets turned to shield and low preference for low quality units. The 1st infantry, of course, is going to be the hammer for our strategy here. And then this 3rd corps, what I'm going to do is select no objects there, and then put shield and spear on the 1st division. And what that has the effect of doing, here we go. Once I add units to this 3rd corps, I like to go in here and zoom in and make sure that the 3rd corps is being set up like I want. I don't want any guys with shields. I want these savage two-handed mofos, because they're going to be the ones doing major damage, hopefully, when the enemy's attacking our square. Now, what I just mentioned, right, squares don't last very long in small combat, especially if they're weak troops. So this might fail, right? I'm just kind of doing these, shooting from the hip, seeing how they go. And if we have failures, I'll probably still load it up on the channel, at least if there's some tactics that we pursue that have some demonstrative value. Now the 6th Corps, I don't even know if it's worthwhile having. I have 6 guys in the skirmishers. I think you can make an argument for just booting the skirmishers in this battle, putting all your skirmishers back into that 1st Division. But I'm going to combine them here. You can actually combine skirmishers and shock. That's something I've looked at doing a few times, and it might be an interesting strategy, right? To have some skirmishers with shields and then shock troops right behind them. It's kind of a dual purpose division. All right, we're going to seek some high ground here. We've got some time here. The enemy's a bit away from us. We're always seeking the high ground if we can get there in time. What that does is it gives our archers better range, better line of sight to shoot the enemy. They can shoot over each other, kind of like it being in a movie theater, right? You're not blocked by some fuck standing in your way. And generally get more range being uphill. Plus your infantry and cav will do more damage running downhill. The enemy, meanwhile, does less damage coming uphill towards you. All right, so we'll set up our skirmishers here on the left, or on the right, excuse me. We're going to have a defensive cav line, and I'll probably end up micromanaging the 2nd cav line. And then our main objective here is to try to get the enemy to attack our square, this 1st Division, this tiny division. I'm not sure it's going to work. 13 guys, and then pound them with our shock troops, right? Our guys are actually taking longer than I want to get to the battlefield. In fact, they might even be getting shot by horse archers here as they're trying to get into position. Motherfuckers. I might do a little damage myself here, just like the first battle. You'll have to forgive me if I get 5 or 10 kills. The idea is that the enemy commander is more than likely getting some kills too. If I just stand here as a battlefield commander, that's another huge disadvantage. All right. The archers are going to work at a good distance here. They've got 42 guys in their vanguard, and we have 13 infantry in our square trying to confront them. It's this is not recommended. Don't try this at home. No, in seriousness, of course, you want to try this at home. One of the best ways to get good at Bannerlord is to play custom battles. Find out what works. Experiment, right? And in your campaign, if you have a battle that's a disaster, it might be campaign ending. In the custom battles, of course, you can just fight these over and over again and see what works. All right, so the 3rd Corps is told to follow me and stop shooting. I don't want these guys flinging their little tiny hammer. The enemy infantry is wading in on our infantry. We're going to move our square to the left. That way it sort of drags the enemy away from us and exposes their backs to us. Now we're going to attack them with this cav division and our shock troops. They've got a quasi vanguard back here that kind of waited, and that's gonna make it harder. Our 3rd and 2nd Division is told to charge. It looks very messy. I would not be able to tell you actually if it's working very well. There's plucking people everywhere. Strategically, like I said, it's questionable with this few troops on the battlefield. In fact, that doesn't look good. I don't see many of our guys, and they're routing, if anything. All right, let's see if we can't shift on the fly. The power bar says we're fucked. Let's back archers up. Let's do some kiting here. Let's use this hill. We're going to move away from their archers, and as they're doing this, we're going to attack their cav and attack their infantry as they're pursuing uphill. If we can slow them a little bit here, if we can make their pursuit more difficult, if we can attack and cut down some of their guys that are attacking here, then maybe we can pull this off. The power bar says we lose, so we'll see. Our vanguard is dead. They still have elite troops pouring up the hill. They're not interested in our cav square offering, so we're going to have to fight this out here. Our archers are uphill here, though, and we have a nice, healthy amount of archers. I hear their guys dying. I look up and I see aserai archers getting kills. Some of their infantry is running for the hills. Don't worry, I won't rhyme and make a bunch of thrills. All right, in we go here with our handful of archers. We're sort of spearing them in the back with our 2 or 3 cav. The only benefit we have here is it's 3-4 archers on their legionaries, right? 3-4 archers will kill a legionary on their own, right? Just, they're all stabbing and poking him. It's death by 1,000 blades. And there's still a bunch of archers shooting. They just shot that guy off his horse. The enemy has a lot of elite cataphracts left. We're going to continue to sort of assist them here. But fortunately, because of our kiting, the enemy archers are a long ways away. So we're going to try to whittle down the rest of their cav here. It's a very close battle at this stage. Tactically, about the only thing that's worked so far has been retreating and attacking as they're not retreating, but kiting and attacking their forces as they attack our kiting troops. This is massively effective if you have high-level cav. You can just trample the enemy en masse while they pursue your archers. I learned that in another game ages ago. I played a game called Dark Ages of Camelot, and one of the best strategies is actually to retreat with your units, get, it's PvP, get other humans to attack you, and as they're pursuing you, slow them down, isolate them, knock their guys around, sort of isolate their units until you're attacking one or two at a time and massacre the enemy. I've got this one infantry guy here in a shield wall. Alright, we're moving up our archers here. We're telling them to attack. This battle's very close. I'm playing it out at this stage just because I'm competitive. Doing a little trample damage here. Again, they have more archers than us, so we're outnumbered here. They got sergeant crossbowmen smashing our master archers. This is probably a battle we're going to lose, but we're going to try to fight this out. I do have about 6 cav myself. The main companion is down. He's slow as fuck, but we'll take out this guy at least. Oh, he's fucked now. This guy can't escape this. He's mobbed. Fortunately, I have the RTS mod, so we'll be able to load up one of these other companions. And this is an F1, F3 situation, right? You just tell your guys attack. Everybody attack. We'll have Cav follow me. That way we can sort of drive them through like a freight train. We'll do a little dodging here. This guy's pretty capable with his sword. And it's nice he's got a shield, right? I can do a little blocking. I think we've got this. Their archers are limited now. We're going to be pretty effective at cutting down their crossbow. I think they just routed, in fact. Despite the fact that they have more units than us. Alright, so like a tour operator, we're offering your money back if you've watched to this stage of this episode. Neither of these battles actually convinced me that tactics are profoundly impactful for small battles. I think we will have one more battle. We'll do a little bit of kiting. We'll try Britannia and see with all of their ranged units how effective it is. If you're willing to do double or nothing, I'm willing to bet you that the next episode we can do, not next episode, but we're going to have one more battle as part of this episode. One more battle here can be effective in kiting the enemy and hammering them with ranged units. Now, Britannia is probably my favorite kingdom for that because most of their units have ranged attacks, right? Lots of skirmishers up and down their infantry line, lots of guys even with throwing axes, which aren't great, but it still all counts. All right, as you can see, razor short victory here, and again, I would say the jury is still out after these 2 episodes or 2 battles, so whether or not tactics on the small scale are really all that beneficial. You might turn it over to your sergeants and just focus on your own combat and probably do pretty well. All right, so we're going to load all these up. Normally I just save you from this, but I'm just going to keep this one quick save game running here. We're just going to select all of the normal units for Britannia. We're going to have a slight overmass of archers because that's how I would play Britannia, and we will allow ourselves to be outnumbered here. Again, the Empire has all of their troop trees, so they're theoretically, we got a decreased melee. That's kind of a nice little banner to have. In theory, the strength of their army is better than ours, and they have more units than ours, or at least their strength of their army, is equal to ours, and they obviously have a lot more units than ours. This is perfect, this nice open field here for kiting. As usual, my formations when I kite, when I do a kill box, when I do this kind of kiting is almost always the same. I have 2 archer divisions. Now the 4th is generally the stronger of the 2. If I have crossbow, the 4th is also my crossbow division. I'll have a cav unit. In fact, I'll have 2 cav units to play defense. The cav are almost going to be exclusively defense here. And we can have a shock unit, but you don't need to do that. You can actually just have the 2nd and 3rd be cav. The key, though, is to have 3 or 4 ranged attacks. I've done this with as few as 5 units and still have good effectiveness. But it's much more effective if you can get 6, 7, 8 units. All right, so the 4th division is my best archers here. It might confuse me. Let's see, that's why I didn't have any skirmishers in the 6th. I like to zoom in and make sure most of these guys got javelins. There's a few that don't, but that's okay. And again, this is something I've shown repeatedly on the channel. I would imagine most people watching this are like, okay, I can X out. I've already seen this before. But for you watching, you know, if you're very early in Bannerlord and you want to see whether or not you can actually provide flanking fire, surround and drown, a kill box, all these different parlances effectively mean the same battle tactics that Hannibal used at Cannae, where you surround the enemy, allow them to come towards your center, intentionally move your center back like you're retreating, and then surround and destroy the enemy, right? It requires a lot of micromanagement of your units, because one of the keys is to make sure that their vanguard does not get to your units, right? If their vanguard of 50 infantry in this case gets to any of our units, our archers, our main infantry line, that unit is toast, and it'll start making this tactic harder to pull off. They got some horse archers there, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on them, and we'll be sort of fending off their blows with this cav line. I've got cav lines protecting both wings, because if you just have naked wings, in other words, where the 4th archers is over there without that cav support, they will get shot, they will get charged down, and it's much harder to pull this tactic off. I developed this after I kind of learned that, well, the enemy flanks with cav a lot, and if you have naked flanks of archers, this is not going to go particularly well for you. So in this case, I've got the skirmishers right up next to the cavalry. In the center is this 1st infantry, and there's some decent troops in there, but we don't plan on them fighting a lot. Here comes their vanguard, if you can call it vanguard, with like 50 guys. And we're going to try to jam this up and not allow a lot of these cav to come through here. They got a kill or two there, but not really massacre our archers there. Over there, it's a little bit messy. Their cav is charging through, but that's weaker cav over here. I can tell all these guys are tier 3, tier 2, and they're attacking our best archers. All right, we're going to start kiting back now. We kite with the enemy. There's 2 reasons we do that. You'd say, well, why don't you just move their archers directly behind them? Part of the reason is because the enemy archers are within range. We want to move back, which puts them out of range. That way we can focus on their units, and we can have some protection, right, from distance, from these cav shield lines as they're moving in. So the enemy's moving over their vanguard here, and it's already grievously reduced. It must be javelins and arrows coming and get shot, you know, getting shot at short distance. I don't remember what they started with, but they've probably lost almost half their men. We're going to start to surround them with the 6th skirmishers and the 5th archers here on our right flank. They're wildly attacking our 1st division here, very aggressive, so we're just going to have the 1st division follow me and pull them out of range. And you see the enemy gave up chasing them. Once you get to this stage, once the enemy gives up, this battle's actually over. At this stage, with this kind of distance with our units and the enemy can't do anything other than just get pelted with you see the Britannian Fiends are working them from the side over here. The enemy has no chance. They're getting skewered. The javelin guys are firing javelins at them. Again, they're kind of charging our jav guys. We just move these guys back. One of the guys did like a little funny looking dance there. Oh, you know what? The enemy just routed. They're not attacking the 6th Corps. I think they're just running off the battlefield over there. Maybe, sort of. I can't tell quite what they did there, but either way, they're dead. The legionaries, they all got smashed. Time to move up and kill the rest of their archers. So you can look up the power bar and tell that at this shape, at this stage of the battle, this battle is, if it's not over, it's going to be over soon. It's pretty decidedly in our factor here. So we're going to move up cav walls in shield just like this to absorb arrows while our archers move in behind, right? Our archers are going to be shooting. Our archers are going to be killing the handful of knights they have left. I can get a little kill here. And now it's time to focus and whittle down their archers. Strangely, they still have some horse archers. I say strangely because usually in a battle like this, those guys are already dead. I took a spear to the spleen. And we will advance with infantry and shield wall, cav and shield wall, right? These lines are just guys in shield walls. We're doing that so that they... Oh, shit. I took a spear to the chest. That would kill you for sure if you were on a horse going 30 miles an hour and then a guy going the other way 30 miles an hour hit you with the spear in your chest. Maybe if you have plate, it would just knock you off your horse. But man, would it leave a bruise. It would hurt to breathe for like 3 weeks. All right. They have a long infantry line. In fact, it's actually a pretty strong line. I see a lot of solid units in there. But you see our cavs are doing their job, right? One of the guys just got killed, but they're absorbing an enormous amount of arrows that would normally be getting to our archers. We're just going to do a little distracting here. We're going to run some guys over. We're bringing up our infantry as we speak. I'm getting killed left and right. Our archers, though, are starting to get within range, and this battle is going to end here pretty soon. Now we have infantry moving up in shield wall. At this stage, this is just a formality. We'll get a few more kills here. Our cav is now charging, but very soon this enemy is either going to be dead or routing. All right, so this battle's wrapped up. What is my feeling on small-scale tactics? I would say it's of marginal value. I would say it is helpful, maybe even significant. It might be the difference between winning a battle that you would lose without tactics. But I would also say that it's very difficult to make a major impact with tactics. Now, this was significant, right? 65 of our 100 troops survived. That's pretty impressive, right? That's 2/3 of our troops survived. So with the right tactics, I think it can work. Maybe do one more battle. Actually, no, you know what? We're going to just wrap this up. I'm going to leave this episode here. We will call it good at that. And we will continue on with these custom battles. Please make requests if you want, fellas. I'm all for trying different things. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like and all that stuff, especially if you want to see more. And I will see you friends next time.